Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. I've had a couple of requests about putting together some cards like this. I shared some cards with you guys over the last week because I've been trying to use up some of my designer paper before the new Stampin' Up! Catalog comes out. So I've been sharing a couple different card ideas and designs with you, and I had some questions about how to make 72 cards from a 12 by 12 inch pack of paper. So I'm going to give you one of the designs today. We're going to do like a double one sheet wonder, and I'm going to show you how to make 12 cards from 2 sheets of designer paper. Now, if you take this idea and apply it to all 12 sheets of designer paper that are in a pack, you'll be able to make 72 cards. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, these are the cards that I created using the hand penned designer series paper. So, it's just a very simple card design, but it's just really pretty with the little doily on there. So I'm going to show you how to cut the pieces for this. And then you'll have some leftover pieces that you can use to decorate the inside of your card. So by the time you're done, you'll be able to use up the entire 2 sheets of designer paper. And then you'll be able to use this design really with any designer paper that you have on hand. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I'm going to move these cards out of the way. Today we're going to use a different pack of paper. So this is hand penned. That's what I have here. But we're going to use, I'm going to just grab it. We're going to use the pansy petals today, and we're going to use the exact same design. So I'll show you side by side. It's the exact same design. It's just a different pack of pattern paper. Okay. So good morning. Good morning. So the greeting that I used on this card, here, let me pull it back here. The greeting that I used here just came from the Pansy Patch stamp set, but you can put any kind of greeting that you want on the inside of your doilies. As you guys know, I have a thing for doilies. So I have a lot of them, but they make really great focal points on your card. You don't have to cut anything out. The doily, these are the Heart and Home doilies. So they're colored on the back and they're white on the other side. So I tend to use the white side a lot. And you just stamp your greeting on it, add a couple of dimensionals on it, and away you go. So it's just a great way to, add that focal point without a lot of work. So I'm going to bring my paper trimmer over here. And these are the 2 pieces that I'm going to be using. So these pieces are from the pansy petals. So this is just basically front and back. So if you don't want to create 12 cards, you could just create 6 from 1 sheet of paper, but I'm going to show you how to create 12. So the first thing we're going to do is cut our paper. So I'm going to put my paper in, I'm going to do the yellow first. I'm going to put my paper in the paper trimmer and I'm going to cut it first at 5 1/4. Let's make sure I'm on 5 1/4. That would not be good. So we'll cut it at 5 1/4. And then we'll slide the rest in and cut another 5 1/4 inch piece. Okay. And then you'll be left over with this little, this is 1 1/2 inches, this little piece. It's 1 1/2. Let me grab it here. It's 1 1/2 by 12. So this is the piece that we're going to use to decorate the inside of our cards. So I'm going to set that aside for the moment. So I tend to cut my paper together. So I have both of these sheets together. You can cut 2 at a time, usually. So the next thing I'm going to do is cut them at 2 inches. So I want a 2-inch piece. This is going to be the centerpiece for the cards. So these are going to be 2 inches. So we'll just cut up this entire piece. So there'll be 2 by 5 1/4 inches. And then we have one more. All right, so these are all of my center pieces. So I'll just bring the card back so you can see. So these are all the 2-inch pieces that are going to go in the center there. So I'm going to set those aside. So now I'm going to take my patterned paper here, this floral pattern, and you're going to want to make sure that you, if you have a pattern that, like this one, what do I want to say? This pattern has to go this direction. So I want to make sure that when I cut this, that, the pattern is going the correct direction on my card. So that means I'm going to have to turn my paper and cut it at 5 1/4 because I'm going to be putting them on the card in this direction. So if I don't turn my paper, they're going to be sideways. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So we'll cut this at 5 1/4. So it's the same exact cutting, 5 1/4, and then we'll cut this one at 5 1/4. And then this time we'll put these two together. This time, instead of cutting it at 2 inches, we're going to cut it at 1. So I'm going to use this side of my paper trimmer. So we're going to cut little 1-inch strips. Out of this entire piece. And I'm just cutting both of my pieces at the same time. So I'm getting 2 pieces at the same time. So you should end up with 12 strips because they're all 1 inch wide. And then this last one, like that. Okay. So now I have all the strips for the side panels there. So now right away, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut up these other pieces. So these are the leftover pieces. So let me bring these back here so you can see what I'm doing. So I cut all of these pieces, these 12-inch, I'm sorry, these 1 by 12. Jeez. I should go back to that. These 1 by 5 1/4 inch pieces. And then I have all of the 2 by 5 1/4 inch pieces. So I have all the pieces I need for my 12 cards. Now these pieces I'm going to cut up for the inside of the card. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put both of them together again, is I'm going to cut them at 4 inches. And we'll cut this one at 4. So we'll cut them at 4. And then because they are 1.5 inches wide, you can cut them in half at 3/4 inches. So, oops, I got to put them together here. So if you cut them in half at 3/4 inches, that'll give you enough to put on, to put a little piece on the inside of each of the cards. So you'll be able to decorate the inside. And that way you use up your entire 2 sheets of designer paper. So pretty cool. Okay. So we got all those pieces cut. So I'll show you the pieces that I have. So I have, whoops. So I should have 12 pieces that are 2 by 5 1/4 inches. That these are our center panels. And then I should have 24 pieces that are 1 by 5 1/4 inches. And then I should have 12 of these little pieces that are 3/4 by 4. So you can use either the yellow side or the floral side to decorate the inside of the cards. So I'm going to move these pieces out of the way here. And I'm going to bring in my card bases. So I just use white, just white card base. And I will show you how to put together these cards. Let's bring these back into play here so you can see them. So basically how this will work is these pieces will lay on your card front. I like to start from left to right for adhering my pieces, but this is what they will look like. So you're basically going to take these pieces and adhere them to your card front. So it's kind of like taking a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece and just adhering it to the front. So instead of just having, one pattern, I just kind of cut it up so that I ended up with just a kind of a fun little panel card design. But basically this is 5 1/4, this is 5 1/4 by 4. So I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere this. So I like to, for this design, I like to use kind of the busier patterns on the outside panels. So the floral pattern is kind of a busy pattern. So I like to use that for my outside panels because my middle panel is going to get covered up a little bit by my greeting or my sentiment. So as you adhere these, you just adhere them right next to each other all the way across the card front. So there's the first one. So that's your background design. So I will put some of these together. If you guys want me to put them all together, I will. But I'm kind of on a mission right now to use up all my designer paper before the new catalog comes out. So I'm pretty excited about the new catalog. Had a chance to view that this past week. So I have to use up all my stuff, right, to make room for some new stuff. Well, I don't have to, I guess, but I want to. All right, so there's that. So you can see how, as I'm just adhering these pieces, it's just the same repetitive, adhering of the pieces. So I tend to cut all my pieces out first, and then I sit and I create, I assemble all the cards and put together the design. It's a lot easier if you cut everything first and then assemble. It seems to go a lot quicker. So we'll find out as I put these together. Here's the next one. So I used this design with those peach cards. I don't know if you guys saw those cards I made with the Your Peach. So this is one of the designs that I used. And when I got done, I used up an entire pack of designer paper. So when I got done, I had 72 cards, all in this design. It was all this design, but I had 72 cards. So just a little bit of math for you. So if you're going to use this particular design, if you use 2 sheets of designer paper like I did today, like I'm showing you right now, you will be able to make 12 cards. Okay. If you decide to double that and use 4 sheets of designer paper, and it doesn't have to be the same, you can choose 2 different sheets, you will be able to make 24 cards. Then if you use 6 sheets of designer paper, you'll be able to make 36 cards. So you can see how, obviously the more sheets you cut up, the more cards you're going to be able to make. And they don't have to be pieces like these. These happen to be front and back. These sheets of designer paper happen to be the front and the back. Doesn't have to be front and back. You can use 2 completely different, pieces of pattern paper. So there we go. We're over halfway there, aren't we? And then let's see. I got some other math for you. So if you use 8 sheets of designer paper, you'll be able to make 48 cards using this design. And if you want to use up 10 sheets of designer paper, then you will be able to make, any guesses? Trying to put these together and pay attention to what you guys are saying to me. Then you'll be able to use make 60 cards if you use up 10 sheets of paper. And then, of course, the 12 sheets of paper, you'll be able to make 72 cards. So if you're wanting to make a lot of cards, this is a great design to do that. So all those cards that I made 72 cards from that one pack of the peach paper. All those cards I already sent out. So that was kind of fun. All right, we're getting down to the wire here, guys. Last couple cards, or pieces, I should say. So here is, I think we got 3 more left, and then I'll show you how I decorated them. And then I'll show you how to decorate the inside. So I like using one sheet wonders just because it's just a great way to, use up your pattern paper and not have any leftover scraps. And if you do cut up your pattern paper and you have some extra paper left, then just cut up that sheet, whatever you got left, cut up those pieces and use them to decorate the inside of your card. So that's what I've been doing a lot, is just kind of using up the whatever I got left to decorate the inside of my card. Whoop. There we go. 2 more. See, this whole time I've been blabbing to you. I've got almost 12 cards made. And it's like very repetitive. Hopefully I put them all together correctly. All right. This is number 11. And then this is number 12. So you can see once you have the design, all your pieces cut, they go together pretty quickly. Okay. All right, so there is our last one. So let's bring these back. So here are all the card bases that I just put together with you. I'm not sure, was anybody timing me? I'm not sure how long that took. Let's see. Probably like 5-10 minutes. All right, so there's all of our designs. So I'm going to just move some of these out of the way. And then what I did is I already created all of my little focal points for the card. So I'm just using these little doilies, like I mentioned. These are the heart and home doilies. So they're colored on one side and they're white on the other. And then you can just add this right to the center of your card front. And look how quickly you can create a card. So I'll just add a couple of them here so you can see. We'll do like 4 of them. See how quick that is? And then of course you can add, you can add little embellishments. Like I added a couple pearls. So you can just add a little pearl right on the top. You can cut out a floral. If you really want to fancy them up, you can cut out a floral and add that. but it really doesn't take much to just create a really beautiful card. And I know you guys have as much designer paper as I do, so this is a great way to use it up. Okay, so I'm just going to put those together. I'll put the rest of them together after we're done here. So on the inside, you can stamp some things on the inside. I mean, this stamp set has a lot of great things that you could stamp on the inside. But what I'm going to do is just take that little piece, that little 3/4 by 4-inch piece, and I'm just going to add this on the inside of the card. You can add it on the top or on the bottom. I tend to put them on the bottom, it doesn't matter. But then you can use up the rest of the designer paper, because these are those little pieces that I cut, the little 3/4 by 4-inch pieces. So there's 12 of them. So you're making 12 cards. You can decorate the inside of all 12 cards. And like I said, you can use the yellow side or you can use the floral side. Of course, I have to use the floral side. And then that way you've used up 2 sheets of designer paper. So pretty cool, right? And like I said, this is a pretty simple one-sheet wonder, but it's just really pretty. It's just a really pretty design. And you can even use this design to make masculine cards. So this will work with any designer paper, not just flower paper. Oh, there we go. We'll just put that on the inside so you can see that. All right, so far I've created 4 out of the 12. I'm going to bring back the other ones that I created. So these were created with the pansy petals. And then these were the ones I created with the hand penned. So, you know, it's the same on the inside, that little 3/4 by 4-inch piece. All right, so there you go, guys. I thought I would do something a little different. I had a lot of requests to share how I created 72 cards from one pack of designer series paper. So now you know my secret. And yesterday I posted a picture of some cards I made with the Sweet Symmetry designer series paper. So like I said, I'm on a kind of on a mission. My goal is to use up the packs of designer paper that are retiring. So I want to use those up before the new catalog comes. So I created a bunch of cards with the Sweet Symmetry. So if you guys were guessing how many cards I created, I didn't have a full pack left, but I was able to make 58 cards from the paper that I did have left from that particular pack. So far I've created 72 cards with the Yora Peach paper and 58 cards from the Sweet Symmetry. And now I've used up some of my hand penned and some of my pansy petals. So we'll see how many cards I'm able to create with the rest of those. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video and these card ideas. And I hope it inspires you to use up some of your designer paper and some of your, if you have doilies. If you don't have doilies, you can use any shape to decorate the front of your card. It doesn't have to be a doily. But if you have doilies, this will inspire you to use those up too. So, all right. So everybody have a wonderful Sunday. And I will share some more fun ideas with you guys next week. So have a great week. Take care, everybody.